talked a lot about the depth of your wide receiver group.
Yeah.
Like less than a week left until final touches. How do you see the bottom of that group sort of shaping out?
Well, a lot of them are nicked up right now. I think we had 5 guys going today, so getting them healthy is a priority. But it was defining itself, and then again, some of those guys missed this last preseason game, so this last week will be important. But they've all got, they're all good players that we feel good about, and I think it's really going to come down to those conversations about exactly what role they fit, and after we kind of get those first few guys settled into the roster, like, hey, what else do we need? And those are going to be hard conversations, but they'll be important. No, I mean, I think you want to use the clock. There are times where you may even want to slow it down. So I think it's all game dependent, but getting up to the line of scrimmage quickly and getting the ball snapped when that's appropriate, getting up there quickly and letting the quarterback look at the defense when we might have a number of plays that we want to choose from a menu. Sometimes it's a 2-play menu, sometimes it's a 6-play menu. And so, just me getting the play in quickly, them getting in and out of the huddle, and then getting to the line of scrimmage, and now we can operate how we want because there's plenty of time on the clock.
Doing that at the line of scrimmage, I would imagine there are weeks, depending on where you're playing, your progress that can really affect that, right?
Yeah. So there's signals that you can use to communicate. You're hoping that the center and the guards can hear you, regardless of, and they can communicate down the line, and then you can use signals for everyone else. And you mix those up. Sometimes they're fake signals because everyone studies that stuff. But the nonverbal communication becomes very important on the road.
Joe, it feels like you guys have been. Chase went first against the Rams. Easton went first against the 49ers. Have you guys made a decision about who is going to take the reps this weekend?
Yeah, I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. We've kind of been focused on, practicing against our offense against the Chargers defense. So we haven't really had that conversation officially. So I think I know, but I don't want to say in case Brandon's changed his mind in the last week. Yeah, I think that a lot of those second reaction plays, they don't necessarily show up in practice because it's like, oh, well, someone came free, plays over, we blow it dead. Where in real life, it's not done until you get tackled. So a little bit like we talked about the running backs, sometimes you don't know exactly until it's live. I think that's similar with the quarterbacks, and it's, it's fun to watch him make those plays. They've been great. I mean, the best thing you can say is those guys all they're making us make tough decisions about, who's going to get the reps and who's going to get the carries. And, they all they're similar in some ways, but then they'll bring a little something different as well. So really pleased with the way that room's been progressing. Saw some good pass protection today, and that's key, of course. And so the best thing I can say is I feel good about every single kid in that room. And, again, that makes decisions hard sometimes.
What are the important traits to have as a backup quarterback in the NFL?
I think being able to get mental reps, especially as the season starts, they get even less reps than they do during training camp. And so being able to be ready if their number's called without, having all those physical reps. And so a lot of it's visualization, staying after practice and kind of walking through the script, getting the plays maybe you didn't get, working with the younger receivers on your timing. And so it's really a mental game for those guys, which is one reason why I was so impressed with what Justin did last year in that second game. To be able to go in as a rookie and show that he had prepared like that was pretty impressive. And so, yeah, you're looking for a guy that can go in and ball out without getting those physical reps during the week.
Trey Pipkins struggled and Storm Norton on Sunday. How would you evaluate the way they performed?
Well, I was really pleased with Storm. I thought he battled. Trey had a couple reps I'm sure he wished he would have had back. I try to give him credit. He just had a baby, so maybe his mind was I think 2 days before the game or a day before the game, his wife gave birth. So, but he had a lot of good reps too. There's just a couple that were he wished he would have had back. And that's important that you have that consistency up front. And so Storm may have been a little more consistent, but I'm not giving Trey an excuse, but maybe he really had one.
Do you miss walking from?
I do. I got to cut down on my calories now.
Just with the offensive line, as you round out that group, what are the important traits you're looking for? Is it more about flexibility, positional flexibility?
Yeah. I think that's huge. We call him the swing tackle, the guy that can go from left tackle to right tackle, which is a lot harder than it sounds. And so guys that have that ability, and it's good, these backup guys have been flipping during camp. We've moved some guards out. So having a guard that can play guard well, but also can hold up at tackle. And then, hopefully you got a guy that can play guard and also snap if your center goes down, because it's not like you got 5 backups ready for a game. You have 2 or 3. And so those backups have to be able to have that flexibility, like you said, to fill in competently at more than one spot.
Does it make sense to have 2 swing tackles, or do you feel like one of those guys would have to?
Yeah, I mean,
Flexibility inside?
I think that's important, that those guys are able to slide inside. And again, a lot of that depends on how many are up, whether it's 8 or 7 offensive linemen, but that flexibility is key. You have to have at least 2 guys that can snap the ball, and then hopefully that backup center can fill in a guard, and then having a swing tackle, and then if you're lucky enough to have an 8th, that's important. A guy that maybe can fill in a jumbo tight end, that's also something that we value. So there's a lot of factors that go into it.
Joe, more on that, it seems like it's between Storm and Trey for that swing tackle, but there's some guy that makes you a third. It's kind of an impressive, like behind this, or you guys want the back of their pilot to right now as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've got that flexibility with Filer. Hymas he played tackle in college, and he's repped some in training camp. So, it's always that decision. Our left guard is a pretty good right tackle, and so do you put your backup guard in, or do you make 2 changes, and I think ideally you just make 1 change, leave the left guard, and you've got a backup that can go in and perform at right tackle. So, again, those are all things that we've talked about. We haven't quite nailed down our exact plan, but those are all things that are in process right now.